At best, the alien abduction phenomenon is a terrifying, traumatic experience. At its worst, well, we think they sometimes take people and don't put them back.
I lost my mother and brother to this trauma. He murdered her, then killed himself.
These women are being used as human incubators, with all their children stolen away into the night.
A 6-foot-tall entity of blue-white light paralyzed me, then bent down and said into my ear, "Hi, Steve." It knew my name.
We hear gruesome stories of experiments and dissections. Imagine dying on a metal table while paralyzed, surrounded by alien faces. It's a real horror story. Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Gnostic TV show's Abductions 101, UFOs, and the Paranormal Connection. We're your hosts. I'm Leslie Shaw.
And Stephen Shaw.
Welcome again. And we always share one of our personal experiences right before we introduce our terrific guests. Tonight we have Riley and Trevor of the What Goes Bump in the Night podcast. That'll be special and fun. But tonight we're going to talk about, what was it again, dear? Oh, yes, Stephen's haunting, because we're interviewing ghost hunters tonight. So we wanted to talk about Stephen's one ghost experience.
Yes, thank you for introducing me, Leslie. Yes, this was a very unusual but a very, very potent event that happened to me in the summer of 1976. I was not even quite 16 years old. I was doing a remodel with my father on what was called the Christ House, which was just below the Wrigley House on the, Leslie showing the picture there, the island of Catalina off the coast of Southern California.
You see, it's an old Queen Anne style mansion, you know.
So anyway, my dad was working on the cupola, which is the top part, and I was working on the lower kitchen.
Yeah, here's the picture of the kitchen right there. Right.
So at that time, I was a big fan of the group Chicago, and I was listening to one of their tapes, and it was the song "Feeling Stronger Every Day" was playing, and this was about noon, and I just happened to have this cold feeling, and I looked over towards towards the doorway, and I saw this woman that was dressed in these old-timey clothes, almost like she was in black and white, and she had this scowl on her face, like, kind of like a combination, like, what music are you listening to, and what are you doing to my kitchen? And she kind of floated by, not like the normal type of like walking where you see up and down with the head, just kind of floated by, and I thought, well, she's on private property, so I got up and I ran out and I opened the door, maybe in 3 or 4 seconds, and there was nobody there. And there was nowhere for her to hide. There was no like secret passages or trees or whatnot. So I just kind of chalked it up to something that was really, really strange. Now, recently, Leslie and I were doing some research because I found the brochure about
this
the
great
Christ
brochure
House,
about
right?
it, yeah.
And so I did some further research to find out who had lived there, and sure enough, this lady who had lived there for almost 3 or 4 generations, she was she had a lot of connections with with Pasadena. She was kind of a rich, in a rich person, and she wrote a book. And sure enough, when we did the research and I remembered what she looked like, the woman was exactly the woman that I saw when I was almost 16 years of age.
We found she'd written a book, and her picture was on the inside cover of the book, and we were able to find it online.
This is the full body apparition at about noontime. It was slightly hazy that day. It wasn't bright light, but it was slightly hazy, and I'll never forget that, until I die. It was just it's basically this, what are you listening to? Apparently she died. What was it, Leslie?
She died in 1955, and
1955.
She was Catalina Island, Avalon has this opera house. It was kind of strange to have this operatic house for concerts in such a remote location, and she was ahead of that. The foundation that ran the opera house.
She was a major patron, right?
Yes, and so we think she was obviously really into music and in classical music. And we think that maybe when she heard this rock and roll music, she thought, what is that outlandish music you're listening to? Maybe,
Yes.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
anyway, thank you, dear. That was really interesting.
You're welcome.
And we're back.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Tonight we're going to have, let's see, our hosts they're hosts of the What Goes Bump in the Night podcast. They've been friends for 2 decades, Riley Clark and Trevor Jensen. They started their podcast in 2019 and now have over 200 episodes. And they've been creating and releasing paranormal investigative videos for the last 4 years and have been into over 20 of the country's most haunted locations. And we want to hear about the top 5 at least tonight.
Oh yeah.
That's what I want to hear, all about those tonight. So,
with no further ado, let's introduce.
Here we are.
Thank you for that wonderful intro, by the way. That was great.
Thank you. I tried.
Bravo. Beautiful.
Thank you. And we figured that you're out of what state are you out of again?
Michigan.
Michigan, right? Yes.
And
Did you grow up together in Michigan?
funny story.
In a way.
So I have a buddy that's been a friend of mine for a long time, and we both play hockey.
Mhm.
And I actually met him at a drop-in because my buddy was friends with his girlfriend
At the time. Yep.
and was like, you should come play hockey with us. And we went to a drop-in and then didn't talk to each other for like 2 to 3 years. Never stayed in contact or anything. And we ended up both playing at Muskegon Community College's hockey program.
Mhm.
So we reconnected there. And then,
Oh, okay.
How old were you at the time?
20. I was
Yeah, we
20,
were
he was
very
in high
young.
school.
Yeah, I was so young then.
College, yes. I
Yep,
remember
those
it.
years.
Exactly. And then, we would party together and everything.
Mm.
And then
We became more
fast forward
adults.
even further, we ended up working at the same car dealership.
Yep.
And we'd actually get in trouble because I go spend so much
Yeah.
time hanging out with them. You'd be like, hey, I'm buffing this car. Does this look like
does that look
look
good?
at this?
And then it
Yes,
would
is your
devolve.
job getting in the way of this friendship, or this friendship getting in the way of your
Well,
job?
The best thing was the job actually kind of dovetailed right into what we're talking about tonight, because we
Yeah.
both had the similar interests, and we would just be chopping it up, and it would be like, hey, I watched Ghost Adventures last night and it was pretty rad. That stuff is pretty
Mhm.
cool. And then we both immediately were like, wait, you've had experiences? No,
Yeah.
I did too. What are you talking about? Hold on.
Yep. And then one day we were just like, let's start a podcast and talk
Mhm.
about paranormal stuff. And then here we are.
And the rest was history at this point. And then
Bam, there it happened,
Yep, and now it's been countless nights of spooky things happening, and I've seen unicorns, and unicorns don't exist.
Yeah. And then on top of that, when we were doing lives weekly, we want to get back to doing that eventually. Life has been throwing us curveballs.
Yeah.
But we will get back to having weekly guests and everything. And we just have been so fortunate to have a amazing paranormal community come around us
Mhm.
and being able to
Oh.
meet people of all walks of life.
Yep.
And I think that's honestly been the most rewarding out
Definitely.
of all of it, is we've made literally friends for life now. And we have a chance to collab with people and
Yeah, share the similar interests, but also hey, did you hear that? I'm not crazy, right? You help me prove this is not just bullshit.
Do you have your own investigation team per se,
Kind
or do
of.
you join other people's teams?
Yeah, it will just be me and Riley usually, and then whoever we bring is also now a part of the night crew at that point.
Put them to work, right? Okay, put this box and put it there.
You have hands, they hold cameras.
bring friends out and stuff.
Mm.
And it's always nice to have extra hands to hold the camera. So.
Yeah, or even it's been a very awesome experience too when we've had the opportunity to give people their first experiences in the paranormal fields.
Right.
So being able to nurture that flame a little bit, but also like when they actually have an experience and they come to you and they say, what is that? What just happened? And there you can see the like electricity just like behind everything they say. And it's like, yeah, that's what it is when you see something you're not supposed to, where the universe is like, hey, I got you. Like, I see you.
My sister, she's 5.5 years younger than me. She and her husband have a company, actually not a company, but they have this.
They're an investigative
team in northern England, and ghostly locations.
Yeah.
And so my sister's kind of picked up the mantle after my mom died, and she's using the spirit box, and they're using the FLIR, and they're doing they've done quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah, boots on the ground.
A lot of boots on the ground, and actually, I've listened to some of this
spooky old Scottish castles.
I want
Scottish castles.
We tell each other all the time we need to.
Yeah, what they picked up so far is pretty telling. So it's interesting for sure.
You should do a traveling season, through the castles of Europe. Yeah,
the Kickstarter will come around again one day. We got close.
Yes.
We just didn't hit the goal.
Yeah, we actually.
It's always money.
Yeah,
we ran a Kickstarter last year, and it actually did really well. Our goal was to raise $5,000, and we raised like 3,500, I think.
Yep. Which
so
was way more than I thought.
Yeah, like we had almost $1,000 after the first like 4 hours,
which
and, like we were mind blown that people were willing to support us that much. And
that's so great.
Right.
Yeah, and like if we would have done it, we would have the entire summer, every weekend, we would have been going to a haunted location and filming something, which would have been
and then you can write it off, some of these expenses off, right?
Yeah, if you have an LLC, you can definitely do it.
Yep. And like all the little things that we had like written into where it's like, no, we want to give back like in all this. Like if you're going to be generous enough to give us your money and your time to watch this, we honestly
put together a really good reward program for the investors. It's unfortunate we didn't get to it, but
that's besides the point. We'll get back to it.
Yes, in the future it could still happen.
So let's hear about some of your. Let's say like Leslie was saying, like your top five.
Yeah. Well, let's give us a spooky one.
We can even bring in some clips too.
So while you pull up clips, I'll tell you guys my 5th favorite so far, and was probably like we started out in cemeteries, and that was our bread and butter for a long time because it was just a lot easier to be able to go and do that on a Friday or Saturday night because we both work very long hours, and then. The first time that we went to Mouth Cemetery here in Michigan, which is actually in Montague, which is about 30-40 minutes away from where we are right now. It's on Native American land. And not only that, it's also one of the oldest in the area. And
I think I've heard of it. It's kind of famous, I believe. Right?
I was going to say it's very renowned around here for being haunted. And we had the most wild experience because not only was the weather like lined up perfect for us because it was supposed to be a thunderstorm that night, but the thunderstorm part just kind of stopped and we got the lightning.
It was like 98 degrees that night.
So like the humidity level like flipped, so we didn't get the rain, but it was still the overcast with the heat lightning, and it was really, really calm. So there was no wind and there was no dilution of any type of evidence that we were catching. So then like the night, just as it progressed, we were getting like very very solid, like responses with like a lot of our electronic devices. So like our REM pods, millimeters were doing a lot of things I've never seen do sense. So one instance, I was walking around with it and I walked into like the back corner, like at the right corner of where the cemetery ends. And I was just watching it and it was like going up from 0s to like 5, which is a pretty large spike for milligauss. And then next thing you know, I looked at it and it went from 0 to like 400. Now, when I looked up what that meant, it's basically like the equivalent to a nuclear explosion going off to like for like that type of energy to be like released like that. That's not an ambient energy. Like that's nothing that we have on us either is able to make more than a couple milligauss like spike either. So it was bizarre.
Do you recall whether the insects also started to stop chirping?
It was
and making
pretty
sound?
silent.
It was.
It's hard to recall it now because it was 4 years ago.
It was quite a while ago. So I don't remember what the
It did.
lights
I
were
do
doing.
remember instances of it though.
There being quite a few like moths were the most common.
Yeah,
thing.
that was the other thing is we are getting dive bombed by moths because we were like, we have to have the bright lights.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's not even the craziest thing.
No, it gets even crazier for sure.
because I want you to see it.
It's probably one of the most compelling pieces of like physical photographed evidence that we've ever been able to capture.
And we had a
So
professional
if I click on it,
photographer.
it'll pop up into the frame here, right? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it full screen here.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be better.
Right in the corner right there. And then it's right in front of us. All right.
So what are we looking at right now, guys?
This is the cemetery.
Very bouncy,
So
but
you guys see the
in that
right
photo,
there?
that photo
And then if I go
is 100%
picture
of
before
a
it,
spirit
he's right
or
there.
a figure.
or she's right there.
Oh,
Him or her.
okay.
So
Possibly a
Don't
ghost
we
or
go
an
like
entity.
And then it's not there.
and
And then
then
it's there.
All right.
there.
So we're seeing 2 or 3 different lights.
So and then we're driving down the road, and a tree was laying in the road. But here's
Okay.
And you didn't hear it fall?
Nope,
No.
not at all. It was one of those like ominous feelings too, because we would have smashed into it had we not like been all paying attention, but we were also jazzed up about the
Like
investigation
this right
too.
here is the road to the cemetery. So, but here's that.
Okay. Had you just been down that road and you're going back?
That was
This
like
one-
after leaving the night. So like when we were down
Okay.
there was no tree down. Then when we were leaving,
I
there was
see.
a tree down.
Okay, see that makes more sense. Okay.
Mhm.
So
we
it
said-
basically was a soundless fall.
Yep.
Yeah,
and then
there was no wind. So
yeah,
it's just
and then in
weird.
that photo too, there's like this very dark, shadowy figure that was captured in 2 different frames of the same exact spot, but the
Mhm.
shadow moves.
Barnabas Collins, maybe?
Right.
No,
We've always
it's in
called it- we've always called
Massachusetts.
Right. Yeah, and the thing was too, like
because
when
it's like 8 or 9 feet.
yeah,
tall.
like when you put it
That
into
sign-
perspective,
the
it doesn't
sign
make sense.
That it is behind it is 13 and a half feet tall.
Mhm.
So it's taller than that, and then that light's probably 20 feet in the air, and
Right.
It dwarfed it.
it's like dwarfing. It's
Wow.
it's mind-boggling when you go to the actual site too and see the area in person, and then you stand right where that was. You're just like, okay, this thing was huge.
Right. And then when you take the contrast of the photo and you flip it a little bit too and you lighten it up, you can see like an outline of what looks like a hooded figure but has no feet and is gliding. It's super, super weird.
Could
So,
you,
is
could you
this-
remind our
oh, sorry.
audience as far as the time of the year and roughly the
It was
the
in
year?
August.
Yeah, it would have
August?
been in August for sure. And this would have
4
been
years ago, you
yeah,
said,
about
right?
4 years ago, I'm pretty sure. It was
About
around the time that we started.
2020?
Right around there.
Wow.
It was-
So
okay.
you
was
had
like
been
our first-
podcasting for just a year by then, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we told
This
each
was
other
the
we wanted
first-
to.
So we had done one other investigation we didn't film
Yeah.
at the Lincoln County Jail, where we caught a jail cell door like opening, but we only caught the noise of it. We didn't
Mhm.
catch the actual physical evidence of it. We caught the
Well,
noise.
kind of though, because like in the prior like pictures and videos that we did have, the doors are all against the wall, and then the
Right.
next time after the noise, one of the doors was like
Slightly.
slightly ajar
open,
and
and
open.
The thing is we tried to open those doors ourselves. They're 250-pound cast iron jail cell doors that
Rusted.
have been rusted for 110 years.
It's an open air jail too, so
It
the
was
fact
an
that
open-air
the
jail.
fact that it was yeah,
It's
but
not
the
anymore.
but they got oxidized and definitely have rusted since then because of the weathering that they had. But it's like there's no sense like how that happens. It's not like a wind just like gust just here's this door.
Yeah. And it must have made a grinding, screeching
Oh
noise.
yeah, it
on
was
the- on the-
loud.
It
to
was
us,
so
too.
loud we thought everyone else in the jail heard it, and they were 3 floors below us.
In the basement, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they didn't hear it.
Yeah, we were like on the second to last floor, like to be on the roof basically. And it's like it's cell blocks. It's all thick cement. Nothing travels because all the doors are shut and it is.
Yeah.
Huh. What?
Gosh, is Lincoln County Jail on my list? I think Lincoln County Jail is
Definitely.
on my list for sure. So that's another location.
And that must be it. I keep thinking of places that are haunted are places frequently where people suffer.
Yeah,
You know,
it does
like
seem to be.
hospitals and jail. Jail would count, you know.
Yeah, concentration camps, or
Right.
or like Gettysburg, the field of like battle.
Yeah.
Right. It's concentrated energy, if you ask me, where it's like if suffering is an energy in its own right, then like when you have somebody basically live, in certain places like jails or like, institutions where they're not allowed to leave, that does actually bode pretty well for the paranormal, but also like, damn, that sucks. I don't want people's energies to just have to stay there because of that or anything like that.
That is definitely what my sister and her husband are finding in England, as far as like this, like a repeating type of entity that basically, from the standpoint of this, doesn't really know or doesn't know how to move on. And sometimes they've been able to help them, whatnot, or sometimes they just do not want the help, but they do exist. I mean, you look at the whole issue as far as like what a soul, what a spirit is, and why it inhabits a physical entity, and just why and how. And it's really one of the biggest questions in the human experience. Why do we have souls, and why do the souls like end up? Personally, Leslie and I, we feel from our studies that there is reincarnation, and that we are just not destroyed after we have this life.
I couldn't imagine it being that way.
Doesn't make any sense, really.
No,
I wasn't. You never really know for sure if you have a soul. Sometimes you believe it and you believe it, but then when we were taught how to astral project, and when you separate your soul from your body and it goes traveling by itself, after that you're pretty sure you have one.
Right. Well, and it's like it has to be some type of a transcendence too, in its own right, being like able to astral project. And if you ask me, like your soul when it leaves your body is another way of transcending for sure.
Yeah,
I think so. It's meant to be an educational tool. I think.
Yeah, we're just inhabiting like a physical, body right now, but it goes way beyond that. As far as like, I've been able to do it most of my life, astral projection.
Yeah,
and I've had since the age of 3. I've had, interactions with what we thought was our family spirit guy called O'Glegley, which we talked about before.
Right.
But I've had numerous experiences. I mean, anyway, it's your show. So go ahead.
No, it's funny. It's funny you brought that up too, because I was thinking about that like on my way over here. I was like, man, the whole O'Glegley story, like I still am just confounded where it's so profound in its own right, because like that's really, really, really interesting, because I don't think that every spirit that we see is necessarily like of our plane. Because like now,
are they all our dearly departed loved ones, or are some of them demons from other dimensions?
Yeah, or like just other dimensional beings in general. Like that would make a ton of sense. Why a lot of it like points to other ways.
Totally believe that.
It's funny. My sister now, who's taken up the mantle as being an automatic writer, which my mom was, and we talked before. My mom proved on many occasions that she knew what was going on. Like when her mother died and when her father died. This is like in
O'Glegley
England.
notified us via automatic writing.
A day ahead of time, at least a day and a half ahead of time. So anyway, my sister has taken up the mantle, and she hasn't really read our book, unfortunately. Who they are and what they're up to. But we asked her, to ask O'Glegley, because she's doing the automatic writing, right? And O'Glegley said, "I'm not an alien. I've been with the Shaws forever." And actually, it makes sense,
and that goes with along with our theories, though, that they're not.
O'Glegley is not. It's not an alien. He's actually.
These are humans that have the ability to. They swim in the astral realm whenever they want, like fish, but they are physically here and sharing the planet with us, according to our theories.
Right. Yeah.
See, I think there's only one time that we've encountered something that we weren't supposed to encounter, but it ended up leading us into a direction to where something protected us.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
This isn't on my top 5 of like.
It is an interesting one though.
Locations at all.
Yeah,
but it is one of my favorite locations for sure. It's definitely an honorable mention. There's a place in Custers, Michigan, which is about an hour north of us. There's a Indian burial ground site, And we went there to try to communicate with a Native American. His name was Good John, and he was the last known tribe member of the original Ottawa tribe that was alive. So he's a very significant Native American person, very iconic. But we went to go talk to him, and we weren't able to make
Didn't
contact
make any
with him.
contact.
Okay.
But we ended up contacting a spirit named Mildred.
Mhm.
Now, Mildred, we didn't think anything of it at the time. We thought, oh, we're probably
It was a
talking to this little
happenstance.
girl because Mildred name came up. We ended up being right by a grave that was named Mildred, and we're
Mhm.
like, well, that's really weird.
Yep. Which in its own right, yeah. Wait. Mildred is a very odd name.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
very,
it's not used much anymore, is it?
Not very common.
It was a very old child, like
Old timey, yeah.
1800s. And the weird thing is she didn't even live to her first birthday. She died at like 2 months old due to some type of fever. I forget.
Yeah, it was like an influenza or something like
but it was
that.
really bad in the time for infants.
Mhm.
See, I wouldn't
Yeah,
think a
scarlet
baby
fever.
would get
Scarlet
stuck.
fever was kind of common back then.
Yep,
Yeah,
that sounds pretty accurate actually.
And
Yeah.
I think it was that and a mix of TB and all that stuff. But she had a twin brother who also, he didn't make it through the birthing process. He died at birth,
Oh.
which like in 1800s, that's a pretty common thing, especially if you're going to have twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
True.
probably never even seen twins before. I don't know. But
So
anyway,
when your
So he
your
was
meter
saying, sorry.
when your meter thing spiked like really high like that, is that a normal ghost, or are we talking about a much more powerful entity?
It's very hard to say because like
it could be anything.
we've had instances of other things, you know, like getting moved in our presence, and you know, like with the manipulation of the electrical stuff that we use, it's really hard to say what type of energy is really being utilized there, I guess.
Yeah, or if it's even paranormal.
Yeah, and then to have like say like Mildred too is like a recurring theme now. So like every time we go on investigations, like we have Mildred follow us, or we'll get the
Really?
name Mildred come
We'll
through.
ask. Can you confirm this is Mildred? Say something on that device that would only we would know.
Yep.
And she does it every time.
Yep.
Every time.
She's a mascot now.
what type of devices were you using?
So we like this.
A lot.
It's a device you can get right off the App Store. It's called Spirit Talker. It's made by a guy who is a
Fellow
little
investigator.
rocket scientist.
Mhm.
He's a very, very intelligent dude from the UK, and he goes by Spotted Ghosts, and he creates amazing devices. I'm not 100% on it, but I'm at least 75% that it works.
And then not only that, we use it in tandem with a lot of the other equipment that we have. So we'll use like say the Obulus 5, or we'll also use our REM pods and our millimeters. And then not only that, we'll try to use what Riley was so brilliant to create himself, which all we decided to do was make our own music box basically, but like he put it all together and then made it all look
we
pretty.
did a little bit different than a lot of the sensors that are out there. So a lot of the sensors that are out there do vibration sense movement, and we decided to go with infrared instead because it's the total opposite of what people say ghost energy is. People say ghost energy should show up cold right on a thermal detector. Well, the infrared motion detection goes off by heat, so it needs to.
It picks them up, huh?
No,
it hasn't yet.
We have not had it go off yet.
But when it does,
it's by design, because if it does go off, for one, it shouldn't, because it needs to detect heat. This device is like 99.8% accurate with heat detection. So it's a cheap device, but it's very, very precise.
So it's like
it shoots a really wide beam and very like large. So it takes it can cover an entire room if you put it in the right spot. An entire hallway for a long distance. And basically we created it by ourselves because they charge like $400 for these devices that I don't necessarily
believe in all the time.
Full belief in. Plus, I'm not spending $400 on that. That's insane. I made this device for under $30.
There you go.
Well, you know, in Great Britain, I've used this with very, very great results. radionic pendulums that are made out of English beechwood.
Yeah.
They're only about $20. Well, it costs about $20 when we get them shipped over here to the United States. But yeah, they work great. You can even use them for for dowsing. They're very good for dowsing for like gold or silver. You put a little piece of gold or silver. You can do that, but as far as like for dousing the human body, that's also too like this $20 investment. It just takes a little bit of time to find out how it works for you. And of course, have you guys ever used a Ouija board? Just curious. I'm curious about that.
I did.
He did.
So I did years and years ago with my sister when we were kids.
Me too.
And we lived in this farmhouse, and we got out the Ouija board because we loved ghosts, and our dad bought it for us. We started using it, and I swear on my life, this thing moved on. So, and I know people say that
Stephen's family saw it too. Yeah,
it moved on its own, and me and my sister this spirit, we could connect with it anywhere we went. We could make a Ouija board out of anything, and it would move stuff.
Wow.
And what it led to was really scary. I remember one night I was sleeping out on the couch in the living room, and I woke up to the feeling of hands around my throat. Like I could feel the thumb on my neck, and I couldn't get up. I was like fully like paralyzed, couldn't get up. Finally, I did get up, and I ran to the bathroom to look at myself in the mirror, and I had hand marks around my neck.
Were you like about 14 or 15?
Yeah, about 14 or 15. No. Yeah. I was in 8th grade.
No,
so
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I saw in my head.
Was that your first paranormal experience?
No. This was just one of the many things that happened in that house. There was a time. This was a constant thing that happened. So my parents' room was downstairs. It was a pretty small house, so it was like you walk in, kitchen, you walk in, and you go around in the kitchen. There's a little dining room, and then opens up to a living room, and then a bedroom and a bathroom, and then stairs up to go upstairs. At the top of the stairs, my sister's room was to the right, and then you take a left, and there's a hallway with a bathroom, and it's the first room, and then down the hallway a little bit, there was my room, which was like a straight rectangle off that.
Right.
Well, me and my sister could hear each other, from our rooms, and we would hear the light flip on, and then the bathroom sink turn on, and then it just would never turn off. And I'd be like, "Hey, Mel, you forgot to turn the faucet off." And she's like, "I didn't go to the bathroom. I thought you went to the bathroom."
Wow.
There's a ghost using it.
Yeah, it's trying to get your attention. Yeah.
And then,
and he's not paying the water bill. Damn it!
my family thought I was going. Me and my sister were going crazy because we would just always talk about this ghost that was in the house. Nobody believed us. We said, "Okay, we will prove it to you right now." I swear to God, this was at Thanksgiving. Me and my sister sat everyone around the living room table, got out the Ouija board, and said, I've exiled this person's name from my mind because I don't want him to come back.
Yep.
He's gone for now, and I think if I was to mention him again, he would come back. So I don't say his name. His name is not in my memory bank at all.
Okay.
Not Beetlejuice, right?
No.
I was thinking Voldemort, but
yeah. You shall not be named.
But anyways, I back in that day, do you remember the Live Strong bands that were really popular with kids?
Yep, the Armstrong bands.
Yeah.
Stretch Armstrong?
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, the Lance Armstrong kind.
Okay, right. Okay. Those
the bicycler.
But I had one of those, so I took it off and I set it down on the table. I can use my hair tie as an example here.
Yeah.
And I put my finger on this end of it. And I said, whatever his name was, I need you to prove that you are real by moving this. And it went across the table.
It did by itself.
All by itself.
Yep.
Pulled, like you've seen someone pull it.
Like the
and
bungee.
Then it snap away from my finger.
Wow. Did that settle it once and for all with the family?
Yeah, and they said, shut it down or we're done.
Everyone freaked out after that.
I tell people that when you're young, you have your chi is mostly intact, and your your vital energies are mostly intact, and your for instance, like I say, like my sister and I, when we were like 15 and 16, and like she was 12, we could get the Ouija board doing the same thing. We would like start with a planchette, and then literally we wouldn't have to use it. It would just be moving by itself.
Yeah.
And I'd heard stories from my mom and her mother and her aunt and all that kind of stuff. They do the spirit contacting and that kind of stuff, and the automatic writing. It's it's been with our family for at least 4 generations that I know of.
And then years later, he and his sister used this when they were children.
Yeah.
Then they put it away for, I don't know, 25 years or something. And And then we moved into the house, and I was cleaning out the closets, and I found it. And I said, well, let's do this, and
dabble.
I was amazed at how reactive this thing was. As soon as I put my finger on it, it leapt into action. I didn't really realize how, but I think it was just maybe because it was theirs,
Right,
and it was such an active one.
And we got rid of it not long after.
Yeah, I sold it at a garage sale. You're not supposed to throw them out, and you're not supposed to burn them, but I figure I'd re-gift it, sort of,
Right. I mean, and probably the person that was buying it knew their full intention with it. So it's like,
hey, give it a new home,
use your full discretion, and please be as smart as you can with it.
Yeah. Don't burn it.
Just don't burn it.
Speaking of things moving,
it's so funny, you guys. It's like if you learn how to open a door, you really need to have a mentor to say, okay, you've opened this door,
but how do you shut it?
How do you shut the door? Because otherwise, these entities or whatever are going to be like with you. I've had one with me for my whole life,
his whole
really.
Life, yeah.
At least one that's been like sitting on my left shoulder.
So how many times? So this ghost pestered you regularly at your home, you and your sister, especially?
Yes. My sister and her friend
So many
Ariel
stories.
one day went up into my sister's room, and her room had red nail polish sprayed all over it.
Oh,
Like,
no.
And just flung it everywhere.
Wow.
It was angry that day, I guess.
Yeah, it did a lot of things. Like, it was I don't even go back to that house.
Right.
I haven't.
I mean, how could you?
Since we moved out, I haven't been. Maybe gone by like once or twice just to see if it was still there, because it was so old. It still is, but I don't like it.
Did both of you have early paranormal experiences?
Yeah, that wasn't even the house we lived in before that was haunted as hell too.
Yep.
My parents bought property and built land on it. Well, it turns out that it was a Indian burial ground back in the day.
Oh no!
Like we found artifacts and stuff when we were digging the house out.
Right out of Poltergeist,
Yeah, basically.
And one thing that used to happen there was I would be downstairs playing hockey, and I would hear someone run down the stairs and slam the door. And then I would yell at my sister, who was up in the kitchen with my mom, stop messing with me and running down the stairs.
Yep.
You're freaking me out. And she would go, I didn't run down the stairs. What are you talking about? And then my mom would be like, she's been up here with me
the whole time.
The whole time. And then we had these slot machines.
That's bizarre too. I forgot about the story.
Yeah. So they would hit jackpots randomly in the middle of the night. And then you
just
would
spew money.
And they wouldn't stop until all the coins were gone. You couldn't turn them off. Like you could unplug it and it just keeps spewing coins out. It was the craziest thing. They would
That is crazy.
Get home from like being gone all weekend. You walk down the basement. There's coins everywhere. Can't even tell me. My parents yelled at me for having coins everywhere.
Oh yeah.
I'm not touching the coins.
It's not me. Seeing when I was a kid, I had my only physical experience so far that I've been like physically touched, and I was probably, I want to say, like 13 or 14 at the time, and I was at my friend Chris's house. Well, his house was fairly new, but for no odd reason whatsoever, they had a ton of experiences with this shadow figure that would be seen up and down his staircase as well. Like doors would open on their own. So like there was many times where I'd be sitting in his basement hanging out with them, and all of a sudden the back porch door that was dead bolted would just swing open, and it's like, hey, you didn't open deadbolt, did you, or go out? Nope. Well, turns out one night my friends were a little bit of bullies, but we love it because we bullied each other. But they decided they were going to strap me to a like one of these chairs basically, and they used a bunch of rope, and then they were like, we got this cool camcorder, these are pretty newfangled, and they threw it in my lap, and they were using a Connect block and a crayon drawn Ouija board that they were trying to speak to whatever spirit was residing in this house at this point. And then I'm sitting in the back of this like electrical closet, and they just, all right, we're going to leave you in here now. So they walk out. Everybody's like hoo-ha and having fun out there. And I'm just sitting in this electrical closet, kind of giggling to myself like, man, my friends
That's really mean.
But like, we did it to each other. Like, there was definitely a lot of like, that was just how we were friends with each other. Like, and we still are friends to this day. Like, I've known them since I was like 3. So like, we definitely were rambunctious kids. But I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I had long hair like Riley did at the time. And it's like somebody just grabbed a handful and just pulled my head back. And I almost smacked my head on the wall, and I was against the wall basically. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? And did my best wriggling to try to get out of the ropes, and like called everybody back in. And like before they had got back in there, the camera had died with a full battery. And then it's like, what?
That happens a lot, doesn't it?
100% does. And that was like the most like solidified I'd ever felt at that point, where it's like, oh, these like bumps and cracks that I've heard maybe aren't just, like the house settling, or like, maybe that shadow I saw out of the corner of my eye hit the corner wasn't just me thinking that.
Yeah, it seems like some entities rely upon electrical energy, like in batteries and certain types of, certain types of that, to be able to have like a short-term intervention or manifestation. Yeah, the things that happened with me in 1979 was certainly not battery-oriented. As far as like when the coins were magnetized in my pocket that both my dad and I could pick up. I mean, this is something that happened over a 5-day period, that everybody in the family in 2 different locations, 350 miles apart, were experiencing at the same time. So they're like different levels as far as like this interaction. I think ghosts or entities that may be more like locked to a certain like location, they have to rely upon like battery power or electrochemical power or whatever to be able to, temporarily manifest. But anyway.
The next location that I do want to bring up that we went to kind of plays off that a little bit. It's called the Asher Walton House in Atlanta, Indiana. It's gotta be on your top.
It is. It is most definitely.
We recently redid that video and re-released it. But there is a very interesting energy at that house. Asher Walton, he was like a business tycoon there, and basically owned everything in the town and built the town to what it became. And it's not a very big town.
I think there's 700 people.
Yeah,
I think that
maybe. It's a tiny town. It was a big town back then, but tiny now. But he died in the house. But his wife died in the house first.
Yep.
And she's said to be seen in the window there, which makes sense that people would say that, because if you look at the Asher Walton house and you look at the window she said to see in, you're like, yeah, that's the window that a ghost is going to show up one day. Like that. Truth. That is the window. Like this house it gives like people in the town are terrified of this house. People thought we were crazy. There's a wedding going on and everyone in the town was at that wedding. They thought we were crazy for staying at this house.
Yep.
But maybe we were, because what happened was we were taking a break. Me and him were actually watching the CTV cameras at the time. And we decided, okay, let's go into the stairwell that's like through the kitchen and takes you upstairs. And we're grabbing our cameras and everything. And I'll just share what happens.
And then we can definitely explain it too, because it's pretty wild what I think actually happened was.
Let's see if
on the close
there, I got it bigger this time.
Yeah, it sounded loud. Like it was like
So we
It
heard
could
it.
have even been upstairs, but
We were trying to debunk what the noise was. And then we just decided, okay, let's investigate in the kitchen.
We're definitely hearing a noise.
Was that you? That we heard?
Whoa! There's a water bottle for.
Are you fucking kidding me? I did not put a water bottle on the fucking kitchen.
Where did you set it down over here somewhere?
Yeah, I put both water bottles up here.
That bitch was right there, just like that.
Drop that. Maybe that's what
Right here.
It is a video of a video.
Yeah.
That's the only issue with it. But the bottle itself, 100% moves
Just moves by itself. Yep.
by itself. No explanation.
So when you started the video, it just sped up really, really quickly. What happened there?
We were just
yeah.
noises and trying to figure out what made the noise that we heard, and we couldn't figure out what it was. And we didn't realize because we didn't see the water bottle on the ground
Until I stepped on it.
And then he picked it up and dropped it, and I was like, "That's what I heard."
Okay.
Basically.
But like to
that
tie it
was
all
the
back
sound,
in, yeah, and then to tie it all back into the energies too. Like that house during the day, because we got access to it before, you know, what evening would have been for them, like, you know, like dinner time and dinner bells ringing. It was so calm and quiet and so welcoming. And then once you kind of got towards the dusk and like the sun started to set, it felt
I describe it as once the shadows hit the house, it became a whole different.
like it turned
place.
alive. Like you could feel the energy just like come in. And then what we had thought too at one point was,
I get chills even. Just
I know, because like it just picked up from there, and it was like, I think what had happened was everybody during that time period was outside. They were in town. They were, you know, doing their thing, and then supper time. What do? You come home and you have supper with your family.
You congregate.
It made sense because they would also host a lot of like dinner parties and like musical balls, basically, because it was a 16 bedroom house or something.
Yeah,
they counted the closets too, so I mean it is huge. But like I have to add that caveat. So like when you get there, it's like, wait, I thought you said 16 rooms. They count the closets.
So did you have some like history on it as far as like people that may have died or like time?
Yeah. So Asher Walton and his wife died in the house.
Yep, he built it basically himself for his wife, and then they lived their entire lives there and passed away.
Common story. Yep.
And they're both there. The people.
Oh,
yeah,
most
100%.
definitely.
So you have to go watch our video overnight in Indiana's most haunted house, the Asher Walton House. The re-edit because the audio is way better.
Yep, I fixed it.
But
Great.
these spirits there are so intelligent. They didn't care to talk to us.
No, they spoke to each
They
other.
were talking to each other.
Mhm.
So what we actually captured there was we had a male voice come through our spirit box that said, "Did you know?" And we were trying to figure out what.
Like a quick pause.
A quick pause, and it goes, "I love you." And it was the same voice, and we thought it was to us, but then thinking back on it now, after all this happened,
Asher loved his wife.
Yeah.
loved his wife,
And they hardly know you, you know, so.
And we were in their bedroom.
and we were in their bedroom on where their bed would have been. We think it was Asher Walton saying to his wife, "I love you," because
Wow.
then the next thing it said is window
Where his wife
where
loved
his
to look.
wife loved to look out about the town.
Mhm.
God,
It's-
how
it's stuff
annoying
like
that must be. You know?
I know.
I mean,
Stuff
you're
like
like,
that.
you're a couple, you're a couple, and that you're intelligent people, and you get stuck in like this purgatory kind of thing, or this in between place.
This is
where
my
you-
eternal bliss. What the fuck?
horrible, horrible. But it's anyway.
Yeah, I can see that because like, what if he's stuck in that room
Mhm.
knowing that she's stuck out there in that hallway and he can't get to her,
And he's just yelling, "I love
and he's
you."
just yelling to try and get something.
Or we're hearing the echoes, which it could be residual energies too.
Yeah,
But
it could
it's
be
hard to
too.
say what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a place I lived at one point. This fella who lived above me, he lived in the attic area. Well, I'm sorry, that's not true. He was like the room right below the attic in one of these like pointy houses. So there was really small room,
like an A-frame, type of A-frame.
Yeah, and right next to his bedroom wall was the stairwell that went up to the final attic, the storage space above. And he used to hear somebody running up and down these stairs at night, And he started communicating with this entity on the other side of the wall. And, he could only get it to like knock once for yes and two for no. He didn't have a spirit talk box or anything.
Was this in Washington or Oregon?
This was in Portland, Oregon. And what he said, he did some research on the house and he figured out that it was supposed to be this person that had lived there. And at some point, their conversations, he tells this ghost, he says, you're a ghost and you're dead and you really should move on. You're supposed to, like, I don't know, go into the light or something, right? And the ghost vanished and never returned, as far as we know.
This was like 1977, 78 or something like
It's
that?
like, I think sometimes they don't know they're dead and they don't know that they should be moving on. And
Right.
you just tell them that, it's like,
hey.
oh, okay.
It's funny. Riley actually, like, the first time I heard Riley ask that exact question, like, do you know that you're dead? I gave him so much shit, but like, it's such a valid question. Because not only like do we not really understand, like what that process looks like until we're on the other side anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, I can't think that like once we transcend out of these mortal bodies that we don't, like continue having like our spiritual like selves. I don't think we lose that.
A spirit goes 200 years without knowing how to communicate with someone. Someone shows up and they tell you how to communicate with them. You're like, I've been alive this whole time and I've never seen another person. What the hell is going on?
Right.
And then they ask you, did you know you're dead?
Like,
and you
what?
Yeah. The whole, I think the whole perception thing is kind of very important here because if they do necessarily, like, for instance, to be able to have any communication, let's say at all, they have to like drain batteries and somehow either they know how to or it's just what happens. But their perception of like what we perceive as reality has to be totally different,
right? Like, what is time to them?
Yeah, there probably is no sense of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably none at all. That's one thing that I have noticed. There are certain questions we can never really get answers to when we do go investigate. That is the question: do you know you're dead? I don't think we've ever gotten a solid answer on that.
No.
Or can you describe like the afterlife for us? What is it like on the other side? You can't get that answer either.
I don't know.
I think a lot of them repeat. They're like stuck in a loop too. Where they every night they do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like they'll always at a certain hour they'll run up those stairs or
Yeah.
Oh, looks like it's about 12 o'clock. About time to hit them steps.
yeah, that's true.
Get my exercise in. For
I mean,
the day.
we do the same thing with dreams. I'm a very let me put it, it's a very interactive dreamer. Okay.
Yep.
And so I still to this day. So anyway, so I can have like a dream that feels like it's gone on for hours, and then I look at the clock and it's only been 30 minutes.
Right.
The perception of like what happens in the dream state or the astral state is totally different than how we perceive in the physical realm, like watching a clock.
Right. Yeah.
Totally different.
And when I was astral, it was hard to. They told me, their teachers taught us this. They said it's an emotional body. The astral body is your emotional body. And so it's hard to get it to think scientifically, but you can put a auto-suggestion into your mind saying, when I'm astral tonight, I want to do X. I want to remember, I want to do X. But then you get there and it's like, no, I want to go scuba diving instead. I don't want to do my homework like I've been assigned. And it's a foggier consciousness.
Yeah.
It's not fully conscious either. So I think maybe being dead is something like that, where you're more of a slave to your emotions, and it's not quite clear.
And,
the world to you is not quite clear.
And like Leslie, like we're taught, when you're still alive and you're still in a physical corporeal body, you have to use mental commands. You don't say I want to swim. You say I want to swim, but you don't try and move your arms. You just use a mental command. And if you're alert enough and you're aware enough, say, well, okay, what I really want to do is like go to Egypt, or I want to go like swim like Leslie. And what you do, you use a mental command, and you do not try and actually physically move your body.
Yeah.
When you try and physically move your body, it
moves your physical body, and you wake up,
and you just slam right
you get
back.
jerked right back into your body.
Right
So like that, when you get woke up out of a dead sleep from your body jerking is basically like getting slapped back.
You're slammed back into your body. Yeah.
In fact, about a year ago, I had, I've been able to astral project most of my life, right? So anyway, I was feeling like I needed to go to the bathroom. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning. It was dark. And so I popped out of my body. I did not know I was out of my body, but I popped out of my body, and I went to my door, which was closed, and I tried to open the door. And I couldn't open the door. I said, what the heck?
Because he forgot his body in the bed.
Yeah, I went back. This is God's honest truth. I went back to my body, and I looked at myself. I thought, did I just die?
Am I dead? Yeah.
I'm looking at my physical body in the bed, and it said, okay, I got to get back in my body. So I basically laid back down, got back in my body, and then I was able to get up and go pee.
And he remembered his physical body at that time.
Every once in a while, this was just like an accident thing that happened.
Right,
I wasn't expecting it, but it's like it's happened to me more than once. I can guarantee you that. But it's like, I got out of my body, and I went just like, boom, like I'm 240 pounds, right? So I don't just jump up out of bed, and I jumped up out of bed and just went right to the door, and I'm trying to open the door, and I'm looking at the door and says, what the heck? And I look back and says, oh.
Yeah, that astral body is a lot more nimble than where we are now.
Yeah, I've had this happen to me so many times, it's not like a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, it's literally just built into your habit now, where it's like,
not a big deal, okay? All right, this is how I deal with it.
Right, but
if it happens to a person like one time in their life, it's like getting punched by Mike Tyson for the first time in the face. You remember that. If you've gotten punched 100 or 200 times, it's like, oh, another punch.
Yeah,
CT's already set in. Like, we're good.
But it's true, at least for me.
It's very true. No, I think that's honestly like very, very cool, because I've only had the instance a few times, and then like to get snapped back to, it's like I've had that experience as well. So it's like I didn't even realize I was doing it in the time. So it's like, like if I can do that without realizing it or doing any type of practice, and I actually put my mind to it and try to like utilize that tool, like, oh, I wonder how really interesting that could be.
If you actually want to learn how to astral project, we recommend doing the Om chant. For the heart chakra is the chakra for astral projection. We were taught, and the Om chant vibrates that chakra, and it becomes easier to astral project if that chakra is buzzing and open.
Yeah, in fact, the mandala, which is a visual representation of what Om is. Both in Hindu, what do you call it? Hindu religion and Hindu philosophy, and also like in Chinese, the Om mandala looks exactly like if you chant Om. And they use cymatics, which is basically like using a representation, using vibrational stuff, like using
they put sand. Like sand on a plate and run the Om chant through it, and it turns into a circle.
It turns into the actual representation of the mandala of Om. And a lot of them do, depending whether you're doing E or Om or S. They're all like different. They basically make the same mandala symbols. Okay, so it's like these things do work.
Get back to our ghost questions, though. I want to know what demons are.
Yes,
so
it's like we. I think most ghosts are dearly departed loved ones, but then you'll hear these demon encounters that are seem like they have more physical manifestation. There's a lot more menace to them.
Right.
And I just wonder who we're dealing with,
Right.
So here's kind of where we did a whole episode on this back
Oh, a year ago now.
a year
How?
ago now. There was a big thing with YouTubers that putting demons in your title
Just to get the
was
clickbait.
getting a lot of clicks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we were not with that. Like,
No.
we made the one episode with demons in the title. That's literally the only episode we've
And it
ever
was a play
released
on it.
with it.
Because we were
Good for
shitting on
you.
it.
But here's the thing: is like we don't know what ghosts are.
Right.
So to
Right.
say that you're encountering a demon is
Still a little bold.
it's kind of bold because you have, for one, no proof that you contacted a demon. No one's ever provided any proof of
Not enough
demons.
credible evidence, at least for
Right.
me.
Because if you look into a lot of the possession cases that did happen in the early 70s and into the 80s, including the Warrens, who are liars.
Yep.
Everything they ever did was a lie and for money.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's a
It's
fact.
so
That's a
unfortunate.
fact, and Ed, unfortunately, is a pedophile. So any of his credibility or dignity is out the window with me.
Okay.
So they kind of started the whole demon thing. If you look back into some of the, I guess, propaganda that they were using,
Yeah.
started shortly after the first, what was the movie? With the possession
Oh.
movie. God damn.
I know. I'm trying to think of it too, but it's like the most.
It
famous
escapes
one.
me because there's so many too now.
Yeah, but it was the first
There's something massacre or something.
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist, right?
Yep, when Poltergeist came out, that story was fabricated by the Warrens. Then there's countless other ones, including the Conjuring House, is fabricated by the Warrens. All of that stuff
it's
are
too
stories created by the Warrens and have no historical proof backing them whatsoever.
But back to the demon.
But yeah, so back to the demons. It's also kind of taboo, in my opinion, to place a biblical term on something you don't know exists or doesn't exist.
Right.
You're trying to claim something that nobody can see nor claim real is something because of biblical beliefs.
Right.
But then you're kind of pushing your political beliefs on people because you're claiming something's a demon, which could in turn create mass hysteria to make people believe that there are demons when there's no demons.
Well, and not only that, too, like to look at it from like a logical standpoint as well. Like there's terrible people that walk this earth, and they're just as human as me and you. But
Right.
I don't think that necessarily changes in death either. So, like, if you were a terrible human, you're most likely going to be a terrible human being.
A mean ass ghost. Yeah.
I've got to interject real quick here too. When I was first studying Tai Chi, my Tai Chi teacher was already a black belt in karate, and a really nice guy. This guy was like, he had a Buddha belly, but he moved like lightning. Okay?
Yeah, it's like swift as hell.
Yeah, right. So smooth, like he had like air under his feet. But anyways, he said
Crazy.
he told me, Steven, when I was like 18 years old, said, you can get a black belt in karate, but if you're a bad person, it's just going to make you a stronger bad person because it's not going to change your spirit.
Yep.
Most of the time.
So
It's
true.
basically going to be a more powerful bad spirit. Also, too, when I was doing research in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, there's two different definitions for a demon, okay? A demon can either be a devil or God that has power that manipulates on the physical realm. The other definition is like what you're talking about, a person who is already physical that decides to go down some very bad pathways for the purpose of manipulating and controlling other individuals.
I like that.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So there's two definitions in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary for a demon.
And I always thought I equate the vampire mythos to the alien abduction phenomenon. They're both powerful. They both come at night. They both paralyze their victims.
Yep.
They both steal DNA in the form of blood,
And they
or
come again and again.
right? And they repeatedly come to the same person. There was lots of little correlations with it.
And they can change their appearance.
Yeah.
Too.
And the incubus phenomenon, I think, is, the alien breeding program, how they impregnate women and then 4 months later they take the woman and steal the fetus.
Yeah,
And,
at 5 centimeters in size.
The incubus phenomenon reminds me of that. You know, a woman claimed, and this is in the 1600s, women were claiming this, right?
Early.
Yeah, they said, well, I was raped by a demon, and then she gets pregnant and starts to show and everything, and then suddenly she gives birth to nothing but air. Yeah, yep. It's like...
and now we know. Now we know. It's like Leslie was going to say. Now we know with ultrasounds that this happens multiple times to women, sometimes 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And the doctor says, you were pregnant, but as far as I can tell, you were never pregnant. There's no scar tissue. There's no evidence of any type of a miscarriage or anything like that.
Yeah, it's very bizarre because they take the placenta and all.
Yeah, no medical technology is capable of doing anything even.
Not right now. That's right.
Not right now for sure, but yeah. And like I love the vampire mythos too, because like I had a really fun theory at one point, and I still actually believe that it could be truths, where if we have an apex predator, it would most likely look like what a vampire would be to us in like the movie aspects too, where it's like, well, if they go into like some type of like hibernation state, or we don't see them as frequent as we were, look at our population. It runs rampant. It's like our apex predator has been missing for a long time, because if we're at the top of the food chain, nothing is like, but at the same time, we see the flashes of something, like in these cryptid stories and all of this, where it's like, we aren't it. That can't be true.
Vampires are the predator of the earth.
Vampires are apex predators. I will die on that hill.
Yes, I would too. They have the bigger eyes. They guess what? They come at night. Obviously
naturally born,
pale, with glittering eyes. Yeah,
this is the skin of the killer, Bella.
It gives me the willies just thinking about it.
Oh yeah, and it's like, as much as like I like to poke fun at it and stuff. Like, do you know how terrifying it sounds to run into like a mythical being that is 100% a predator at heart,
who's going to kill you,
sees you as their prey? Fuck that. I'm sorry, no.
Kind of like that Silence of the Lambs guy, the Hannibal Lecter, stalking you down his hallway or something,
Did I tell you guys about what happened to me when I was 23? That little being about 1.5 feet tall that was hovering at the ceiling? Did I tell you about that one?
We don't know what this guy was either.
Yeah, I told him when he floated down there, I said, you can help me, but you cannot possess me. Because he asked me, do you want me to help you get out of your body? Okay, and I knew, I just knew intuitively that I could not show fear. And I said, you can help me, but you cannot possess me. And it tried to pull my right arm out of my body, and it started to go back up into the air. And it kind of growled, or kind of let out like a frustration thing.
Yeah, like a gurgle.
And then it left. And then my dad asked me in the morning, said, who were you talking to in the middle of, like at 5 o'clock in the morning? Or
and he could hear the voice too.
So yeah, it's like, but it was a deep baritone voice, and it was very direct. It was looking straight at me with these big black eyes and this triangular shaped head, and saying, "Do you want me to help you get out of your body?" I knew that its intent was not completely right.
Yeah, you can feel
nice.
That like we've had this conversation before too. Like, if you go into, say, like a restaurant and somebody's got some type of negative energy and they want to make a scene, like it pulls everybody's attention. Like, you can't tell me that like a ominous presence that comes into like your presence as well isn't going to just immediately sense, like, your body senses that. Like, it does happen.
It's the same thing like when somebody walks into a room and everybody's eyes turn because their chi or their energy is like, so like, wow, I want to know this person. I want to talk to this person. It's like the opposite polarity. It's like the other one where you talk to a person and you just feel completely drained after you've spent like 5 minutes talking to this person because they were energy vampires. I mean, I totally believe this because I've experienced it before. I've experienced the other way too.
There are energy suckers. I believe
there are.
Too.
I definitely believe that as well. Like, I think we've encountered a couple ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, tell me about one of them.
I mean, shoot, it's like how we were explaining it. Like, it's every conversation where, like, instead of it being like a resolution or something like that, where like there's a conflict and you can easily like see the end there. There's no resolution because it's just like, let's just not resolve this
by creating another conflict.
Yeah, and then like at the end of the day, it's just like I could sleep for 12 hours a day and not even worry about it, and that's not any way to do anything.
Yeah.
And I think our lives too, like the life that we live will bring energies that we need to and from it. Like we're naturally going to bring the energies that make us happy to us, like just naturally, because more than likely, like my energy and Trevor's energy, we make each other happy. We always have a good time. It's really never ever been negative. Obviously, we're going to continue to hang out because when we're together, energy is positive, and that goes for any relationship. It could be casual, it could be romantic, it could be whatever. But
even like in the like ghost hunting facet, where like, if you're putting that energy out there, I feel like it's like you're also ready to receive that.
I feel like we get so much activity and have so much success when capturing paranormal evidence because of the energy we bring into a place. Like we're there to have fun. We're there to enjoy ourselves.
To engage with the people that were there as well, instead of just like do circus acts.
Yeah, because sometimes it can feel that when you're paranormal hunting, like you're asking a monkey to do tricks for you, like it can feel like that. You're like, touch this cat ball, make that device
Those make pretty lights and noises. They're nice.
Go see one a tree. Like,
Yeah, show me something.
Literally.
And
There's a lot of that.
Have fun to make sure it doesn't feel like that, because there's been nights where it feels like we're just out there performing a circus. Like,
Yep, we're just recording each other looking like idiots. Then there's other nights, where you feel like you made a genuine connection with a spirit, where it's like I came in with an open mind and an open heart, and like I feel like me and this entity made a connection.
It must be so worth it at that point. It's like
it is.
Wow, that was worth it.
It's so rewarding too, because like when you get to travel, I know you feel the same way. Where it's like we have to go very far out of our way a lot of times to find these places, and then when we do, it's like I really hope that we didn't just drive 6 hours out of our way to just spend the night in a cold, dark place.
It must feel like that sometimes in the field. It's like I think I've been bit by my 50th mosquito tonight, and
I wanted to ask you guys: have either of you had like what you perceive as being a real like near death experience?
A few.
We had
quite a few.
We almost witnessed a death together.
That too,
was pretty terrifying. We were at a stoplight, and in Michigan, I don't know what it is in other states, but in Michigan, you can turn right on red as long as it's.
I think it's a general thing, but it's hard to say.
Yeah. Because some spots you can't turn right on red, right? But this particular spot you can. And the car had went just before us, and I started inching up, and I just decided to take one more look to my left. And as I did, a van crossed the intersection, and a semi truck going 65 crossed the intersection.
T-boned it, yeah.
They the semi truck T-boned the van, and they came right at us. My car got covered in glass.
Oh wow!
It missed us by probably
it was
15 feet.
Yeah, it was feet for sure.
And I've never been in a situation like that. I froze. I literally was. I've always thought I was a fight before flight person, but in that moment I was flight. Like I was so terrified. I looked at him. I'm like, do we go over? What do I do? Because now I have this semi truck in front of my car. I'm surrounded by cars. I can't get out. People eventually just roll their window out and they're like, just
like go park.
Go park in that parking lot, bro. Are you okay? Like checking on us. I'm like, I'd want to know about the person in that van. Like, because the first thing
we're fine.
Somebody scream bloody murder too.
Oh.
Because someone got out of the van, the driver, I think it was. His kid was in the back seat where the semi hit it.
Oh, no.
He survived, but he was paralyzed.
Unfortunately, but at least, I mean, it's
even
like
worse.
The silver lining, though, is like at least there was no loss of life. As terrible, it is no way that I want anybody
to live.
Like a near death experience, I guess.
See, and I've had quite a few where it's like I've one time made a poor decision and did a bunch of terrible things to my body and like seized up, fell out, and probably shouldn't be here after that. And then not only that, like there's a few times where like people were driving reckless and I narrowly avoided getting also struck just the same as that van did. And it's like time slows down, everything goes quiet.
Mhm.
It's the wildest feeling.
Yep. I've got one I'll just share real quick that it's one of like 3 that I've had happen to me. And this was in 2000, 2000, I believe it was, when we're still living in Woodland Hills. And I still had my Ford pickup, and my work was only like a quarter of a mile from where we lived, right? So I got into the Ford pickup, and I didn't have enough gas, right? And so just ran out of gas, just before the gas station, right? So
Damn it.
I didn't know that I had a heart condition, but I did have a heart condition
Right.
apparently. And so I'm trying to push this, truck by myself into, the gas station,
behind
there,
you.
right? Right? It's a truck, so it's not light, right? And so I'm pushing this thing, and then all of a sudden this guy showed up out of nowhere, this white guy with these big wide eyes. They're wild eyes. He opened the passenger side door, and he looked at me. He said, "Ramming speed, Captain." and so then between the two of us, we pushed the car into where I could get gas. And then I was like, I didn't know I had like a heart aneurysm at the time. So anyway,
Maybe saved his life.
So I looked
Literally,
over to say, thank you, buddy. And the guy is gone.
Poof.
There is no evidence that he was ever there. Okay, but the thing, like, with his wide eyes, and he just opened the door and he said, "Ramming speed, Captain." He happened to be there at the right time because I was not going to be able to push this thing myself.
Right.
It was not going to happen. Right. But all of a sudden, the oncoming traffic stopped, so we didn't have to deal with that, and we were able to push it right in there. And that's just one of like 3 I could tell you about. But these things do happen. Okay,
Right.
They do happen, and it's just like, okay,
Like an intervention, sort of,
I was literally just gonna say it's like a divine intervention.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. The thing when I almost died on April the 1st.
Yeah, he almost drowned. Another
April
one.
Fool's Day, 1992. I can remember exactly where it was. It was Nicholas Canyon Beach, which is north of Malibu. I was with my ex-wife, and I got caught in the riptide, and I was going down. Okay,
Riptides
and
are
I said, "Help!"
They're gnarly.
I said, "Help!" 3 times, and I was in cold water. I could not move my arms. It was the only time in my life where my arms seized up. I could not move them. They were so cold. And I finally just got my arm up the last time, said, "Help," as loud as I could. And this lifeguard is like 150, 200 feet away from me at the lifeguard tower, flirting with a couple of girls, right? And then either one of the girls, or the lifeguard finally recognized that I was out there, right? And I went down. I was 6 feet under, and I was looking at the light, and I was saying, "Oh, this isn't going to be so bad. I'm just going to take my last gulp." Honestly, I thought I was going to take my last gulp. And this guy, in 2 seconds, Michael Phelps couldn't do it on his best day.
No, yeah, no
or
way.
A shark. It doesn't matter. Okay, he somehow found me
that too.
in the current.
Like 10 feet of water,
And he found me, and he reached down, and he grabbed my arm, and he pulled me up, and he said, "Just relax. I'll take care of you."
I've got you, sir.
And so he put me in the fireman's type of thing, right? And he brought me in, and my wife at the time, not her,
Not me.
my wife at the time was like less than sympathetic. Thought I was dumb for going body surfing at the age of 31, right?
You're dumb.
So anyway, so I want to go. I wanted to thank the guy, right? And nobody knows where he is. He's just gone.
On a long stretch of empty
I almost
beach,
died.
too. Yeah,
I almost died. And there was the lifeguard tower was right there, and it's like, this guy. I don't know how he covered that amount of length of
Right.
from the beach into the water and finding me, and I was down for only 2 seconds, and I thought, I'm going to die, you know, and it's just like, but nope.
Riptides are no joke. Lake Michigan claims so many lives every single year in the rip currents.
Really? Lake Michigan is dangerous, huh?
Lake Michigan's very dangerous.
Yeah, there's been many a time where like you'll go out there and all of a sudden you'll step in a pocket and it'll be like your legs are swept right out from under you, and it's like, holy crap.
Yeah, Lake Michigan plays no games, like none at all.
Yeah, you don't mess
People
around.
test it. People test it, and they find out real quick that Lake Michigan, it doesn't care about your feelings.
Yeah, even the Pacific Ocean, the April 1st, people think Pacific Ocean is warm. Well, that's the South Pacific.
Yeah.
But where we are, it was in the 50s.
Yeah.
And when you get a riptide in the 50s and you haven't been like practicing swimming, and you didn't have, I only had my trunks on. I didn't have like a,
Right. Yeah. I didn't have a wetsuit or anything.
Like a wetsuit.
I didn't have a wetsuit. I just went out because, it was like, no. And then, like I say, honestly, being in the Navy, having been in the Navy for 6 years and all that kind of stuff, I didn't believe that I could lose the feeling in my arms.
Right.
Literally, they became like lead weights. And unless a person has experienced that,
it's scary.
Oh, well, you're just like, it was like no, it's not your imagination.
Nope. The polar plunge here in Michigan, when we jump in Lake Michigan in the middle of January, it's like, the water's -10. Like it's bad. It's bad though. Like it's as soon as your body hits.
It's like 30, 20 degrees. Like
immediate shock.
Man, I can't imagine that.
It's very warm. Like Lake Michigan, on its warmest, it'd be like 65. That's like good swimming.
Yep, and
here,
it's bath water for us.
Yeah, that's about
65. Oh, sure, yeah.
Throughout the year, it's like under 50. It's the further you go out, obviously, the colder it is.
Definitely.
I could not believe that, like in the 50s, whatever, that my arms would just go numb. I would not have believed it to this day.
Right.
Lake Michigan's like 2,000 feet deep in some parts. Superior's even deeper. Superior is so cold all year long, you can't even swim without a bodysuit. People don't even swim. People don't really even take boats out on Lake Superior because it's so dangerous.
And that's the other fun part about living around the Great Lakes too, is like, not only is it a hotbed for paranormal activity because of the water that's all around us, and it's fresh water for one, and it's like you don't get that very many places, but it's abundant.
Yeah. And
then you get these lighthouses and things that, back in the day when the sailors would go down, they'd store the bodies there. And then now you will get, like lighthouse attendants that still linger, because that's what they've known for their entire lives too. And it's
pretty much
cool.
Every lighthouse in Michigan has ghost stories.
They're haunted. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and it's, I love it.
Yeah. Wow. That's really cool.
I wanted to ask, do you have any idea, or have you spoken with any experts in the field of researching these black-eyed children?
Oh, we haven't.
We have covered it.
Yeah, we've covered it, but we haven't got a chance to talk to anybody who's done like any like diligence on it. Where I think it's very interesting, where it could be like a product of MK Ultra in a sense too, where it's like, I wonder, if these children are not necessarily, like entities, but like basically brainwashed into being like these drones almost. And they're just like doing tests with them. Like it's super interesting.
Yeah. I was thinking that they might be, because we know the aliens are breeding with us, right? I thought, well, maybe it's the like a cross between a gray,
could be,
and a human. But everyone reports a sense of evil about them, unlike with the alien phenomenon.
Yeah, malevolence. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's just an urban legend. That's just
Could you remind your audience and also us too what MK Ultra, what your understanding of MK Ultra is, if you have an understanding?
I just know it was experiments with acid.
That is also part of it. But MK Ultra in my book was the very, very secretive program that our government 100% has been proven now to have worked with psychedelic manipulation of people.
LSD for sure in the 60s, yes.
Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, they would also try to create the super soldiers, but use remote viewing to help with their military objectives. And then
the Stargate project, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. A lot of stuff that had to do with those spin-offs, or a lot of just secret projects that we probably don't know very many of anymore, because there was only 20,000 documents of probably millions that were destroyed because of it being such a taboo thing, because they were tapping phones, which you couldn't do, and going behind other backs of, the scales where we have a balance system for a reason.
Yes, believe me, in the ufology community, we're just up to here with the government and their,
You know,
their
Dolan.
constant lies to us.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah, like the drones that are happening right now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
or
they're
like-
nothing. Yeah, it's nothing.
Right.
Yeah,
Or
they're
even
trying
what was it? I heard today actually, Charles Manson could have been a product of MK Ultra because of like the psychedelic manipulation.
No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's like
sure.
some dovetails that follow it where like some doctors that were also like correlated into the MK Ultra like program and did a lot of psychedelic, like brainwashing program type dealios.
I wouldn't be
also worked with
surprised. Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
well,
like
then Timothy Leary would have been part of it too. So
yeah, and then I think what was it? The guy who shot Jack Ruby? Yeah, he also had ties into some of the doctors that had ties into MK Ultra too. And he went crazy the day after one of the doctors went and saw him, and he couldn't testify for why he shot,
Oswald.
I was going to say Lee Harvey.
Lee Harvey.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, apparently, depending on what you believe, he was dying from cancer, and he was, it's a very convenient story.
It is.
There's so many convenient.
There's so
stories.
many,
Yeah.
so fucking
So
many.
many amazing conspiracies out there.
I
Like
know,
false
that's the
flag here,
problem.
false flag there.
That's
Like the
problem.
Forstall guy too.
James Forstall,
Yeah.
the original MJ12, yeah.
We're pretty sure they murdered him.
Secretary of
no
State
doubt.
at the time.
To keep him quiet and.
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell me that it doesn't line up that way. I mean, look at how they tried to
Yeah.
like kill Fidel Castro, for Christ's sake. They did it 634 times, and not
Wow.
only did they fail every fucking time,
They
but they
sucked.
were, they were trying to like, all right, well, if we can't actually assassinate him, let's make his beard fall out, and then people won't like him.
It's
like, oh my God.
it's a testimony to incompetence in some ways.
Right? Extreme and arrogance as well. Like, oh my God.
Arrogance and incompetence. Yes. uh-huh.
The latest thing. This is
Unbelievable.
the 3 videos that Luis Elizondo released to the New York Times that were such a big splash, right? The Go Fast,
Yep.
the Gimbal, and the Tic Tac videos.
Yep.
Well, the Go Fast video, the new Arrow organization researching this phenomenon, they've just been telling one lie after another. Now they've come out and they're saying, "Oh, well, the Go Fast video, that's been resolved." They say it's been resolved, right? What they did is they proven that by triangulation and the parallax views, they've proven that it's higher than previously thought.
Yeah.
And it's also not moving as fast as previously thought. And that's it. There's still no resolution here as to what it is, what it's doing, and how it's doing it.
In fact, if it's moving slower at the level that it was at, maybe 100 feet off the ocean surface, that means airplanes, especially, that's not even an airplane.
Nope.
All right, so how was it even like being able to keep itself going?
It's still a UFO with no visible means of propulsion. And
of air when you're 100 feet off of the water and you're going in.
They technically say it's a UAP now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Just
the other thing they're
smoking
doing too.
Yeah, they change the terminology constantly.
They're
They keep
effing around with the
UAO?
terminology.
Unidentified autonomous object.
Yeah, with the drones out, they're calling them that. Yep.
UAOs.
Yeah.
That's the new
Yeah,
thing
they're
that
just basically trying to confuse us.
Oh, definitely.
It's confuse a cat, like a Monty Python. Confuse a cat.
I was just gonna say that's.
even
I love that so much.
Yeah, I sensed it. I really did sense it. I do sense things.
Monty Python is the best.
The continuation of the congressional hearing saying that they have proof of alien bodies, but yet have no physical evidence to present it to us.
Please.
Why would you say that and then not have any physical evidence? Oh, well, we'll discuss it in a skiff. No, discuss it right fucking now.
We can handle it.
You can't just
We're waiting.
I believe the Hawk Tua girl more than I do our own government.
100%. Like, I'll put my eggs in that basket before I believe the government.
Right, and it's like, even if they were to tell us what the truth is with these drones, now they had a chance to come clean. Now
They fumbled it.
they fumbled it. No one's gonna believe them when they tell us.
Doesn't even matter now.
Right.
Because next, they're going to be telling us that, well, actually, we have Valiant Thor back. He's coming to talk to you guys.
We're going to talk to you guys, and everyone's but that's not Valiant Thor.
Like, stop it.
That's a real Thor point.
Oh, Steven.
You have to have a little bit of humor in this stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you go insane.
Yeah. And every time the government, they release a little bit of data to us, or a little bit of information, or a little bit of evidence, and we're like, oh, this is it, the disclosure is coming. It never is. No.
Nope.
It's like, oh, okay, here we're going to release this evidence, but it's from a case study from 1942.
Exhibit A. We've already heard this.
3/4 of it's redacted. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's either the lie sandwich or the truth sandwich.
Yeah.
You know, a lie hidden behind two truths, or vice versa. You know,
I think
always like
two lies is the truth. I think
Right,
Or they're
exactly.
just handing out shit pies, and they're like, cut it and eat it however you want. It's still a shit pie.
If we
It's
lied
still
to
the
them
same
twice,
thing.
that means we told them the truth.
right.
Yeah. That's their version,
Definitely.
And I think there's a very powerful faction in the Pentagon.
Mhm.
So powerful, I think that they're not even disclosing the stuff to presidents anymore.
No,
I think they think of presidents as loose cannons, temporary loose cannons with big mouths,
Yes.
So
Or
Yeah.
puppets. I mean, like we can go on and on about the political system being as broken as it is,
Yeah,
but they're just
yeah.
figureheads. I've never believed that they've been actual
there's
power.
reports out there saying that there's some type of intergalactic space
That I would
conglomeration that like they're like conglomerating with actual alien beings behind closed doors. I don't even know if I believe in that. That's a little out there.
Yeah, that's where we differ with a lot of people.
Like what?
We don't.
If they were
we don't see
aliens,
it
why
that
the hell
way.
would they work with us? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my
Yeah,
life.
let me just open the wrong door and he's just eating a Twinkie and you're just like, what the fuck?
In this
No,
generation
we-
of humans, I
yeah.
would be like, these things are a disaster.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
second half of our book really explains it to people as far as what we've been able to find with our research and our direct experiences, especially mine and my family. Like, we don't think that they're coming from Arcturus
Yeah.
and Pleiades, and
we think they're a breakaway branch of humanity that separated from us thousands of years ago.
12,850 years, and we got the proof to we got the evidence to prove
Well,
it. So
we believe
it's
so.
like it's
right?
also the means, opportunity, and motive.
Yeah,
what-
and like if people adapt, like to certain surroundings, and like if you look at like anybody below the equator, like they're more adept to being able to handle that heat. We go down there and it's like I'm dying.
Yeah.
Like, awful.
I know. I've been down there. So is those
Right?
guys.
And then it's like you flip that and you go, well, these beings, like maybe they don't look like us, or maybe they do look like us, but they also like have a different agenda. But also what we have like developed into are completely different beings from what they've developed into.
Yes, quite different. I mean,
Yeah.
they're human, and
But to
we
what
know
extent?
that because they can breed with us so easily, right?
That's
I mean,
right. Big giveaway.
It can't be anything else. If you're having sex with us and making babies,
And
guess what?
viable
They've
viable
unlocked that.
babies.
It's they're ascended. That's what
Yeah,
I
the
was-
ascension
Yeah.
in the brain or whatever, like neurons and transmitters that have to fire
It's
to make
the
us
it's the
ascended
Yeah.
beings.
neocortex and what they call the parahippocampal gyrus, as far as
Yep.
like for people that have more ability with for instance remote viewing, or like myself with telepathy and things such as that. And telepathy, people don't realize that telepathy is the most basic way of communicating.
And we think it's
not.
a human birthright
Yeah, it
that
is.
has
Yeah.
atrophied in us, but has not atrophied in we call them cousins because they're not aliens to us.
That's why they breed with. That's why they need us. That's why they're concerned about the nuclear weapons. That's why they're concerned about what we're doing to the planet right now.
because
It's like-
if we blow up the planet, we kill them too. It's like they have
Right.
skin in the game, and
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
obvious. It's so obvious, and also the cow mutilations and the other domestic animals of man. It's not just cattle. It's goats. It's
horses. Sheep,
It's like cows get the most airtime. That's basically what they do. They get the most airtime. But exactly. So what would, let's say beings that are a million years more advanced or 100,000 years more advanced than us, why would they care about frickin' cattle blood and exsanguinating cattle at the rate that they're doing? And also too, like with the with the crop circles, obviously, you know, they started with like the basic of the languages, being very, very simple, and they become more complex and more complex as they've gone on. It's not these two guys from frickin' England that were drunk that, you know, Bob and Dave, whatever.
Yeah, with their boards, like putting it down with a board. You know,
it's not that at all. It's no.
All over the world, you know, they get around, you know.
You know, people want to believe. That's like
if there's like crop circles showing up now with all this drone activity, like
I haven't heard a lot of crop circle activity at all lately.
Yeah, not lately.
No, neither have I actually.
We think that they use them to communicate to our science community, to kind of go around our military, and you know, that's another thing where I think it proves that they're not completely alien. Is that Eisenhower was willing to cut a deal with them, right? Would he sell out his own people to a completely alien species? You know,
that have 5 tentacles and 5 eyes.
Yeah,
50 eyes. You know,
anybody in their right mind would.
I mean,
right? But if they're human, then it's like, well, they're human too, and more advanced than we are. We don't want people to know about that. You know, especially.
Did you guys ever see the movie Sneakers? It was like about 35 years ago. It was with Robert Redford and Dan Aykroyd. And Dan Aykroyd was one of these guys, one of these characters that he believed every conspiracy theory, right? And so there's this one scene where he says, and Ike says, well, you know, you can take all the cow lips you want. Just give us some of your technology. You know, and this is 35 years ago, right? Right. And you know what? It may not be that far off, you know?
Not at all.
Our technical advancements compared to the rest of human civilization's technical advances. This jump is insane.
The jump was huge.
Just 200 years ago.
Dark Ages.
You know, Revolutionary War, Civil War.
Yeah.
Think about how those people were living then. The idea of sending a message through an electronic device was not even a thought.
I have said that so many times. Can you imagine? If somebody has a cell phone.
Great grandparents were alive during this time when a cell phone was the craziest thing that anyone. If you said that, you would probably be trialed as a witch.
Yeah,
exactly. I've said that so many times.
In 100 years, there's going to be an electronic device that can send messages and go on the internet and has infinite knowledge.
What's the internet, sir?
The internet is like the horse and buggy,
right?
Trying to explain the cloud to them, you know.
Oh God.
In the future, people are going to be able to make clouds and control the weather whenever they want.
Yeah, Dubai.
They can just create clouds that'll rain.
We're only at 5G technology. Wait till we get to 10. I mean, my God. I mean,
so quickly approaching.
In 100 years, there's going to be the most technologically advanced city ever designed in human civilization ever.
Oh, the wall in
Dubai.
The Dubai wall,
now.
Oh yeah, that too, yeah.
Oh yeah, Dubai, yeah.
The megalithic structures.
Out of nowhere, it was a desert not long ago.
Wonder why Tiger Woods is so heavily invested in Dubai.
Right, should be.
And also Elon too.
Yeah.
You can't drink there though.
I don't need it. I don't need it.
$1,000 for a.
They'll do injections. Or whatever.
I want a computer that fits in one of my teeth that I could just access it with my tongue by pushing on it.
Just with your eyes. Just blink your eye, you know.
Yeah, just blink and the screen pops up and you're just like scrolling.
Yeah, like
I was writing a short story about 15 years ago where a guy goes into the future and he's sitting on a bus, right? And actually he's from the past, right? So but he's sitting on this bus and nobody's talking to each other, right? But they're all laughing and they're having conversations, and some are using their eyes to blink, and some are using like these tablets, right? But nobody's talking to each other. And he's trying to have a conversation.
They'll have Bluetooths in their ears.
But he says, no, but everybody's insane in the future. No, they're not. They're using advanced technology, you know. So, anyways, we must be getting pretty close on time, right?
Oh, you know what? Yes.
Yeah, we must be, right? Yeah, right. You know, we're on a limit here.
I'm sorry, we've been doing too much of the talking ourselves again, you know?
If anything, I thrive in this so heavily. I love these conversations so much.
Do you guys have anything you want to plug? Shamelessly plug?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well.
If you use any type of podcasting streaming service, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean. There's literally so many. It would take us an hour to name them all.
Yeah.
Make sure you go look up What Goes Bump Tonight. Give us a follow and listen to an episode. If you hate us, give us a 1-star rating. If you love us, give us a 5.
I'll say it helps get the name out there. We try to release episodes as frequently as possible for the podcast side of it. And then Riley has been hard at work at a new investigation video that we're hoping to have probably closer to, the end of January to come out, if not a little bit later than that. But
will you release that on your cast or on YouTube? Or
it'll be on the YouTube.
That'll be on YouTube. You can also head there for countless live interviews that we've done. And
it's very much so different things. If you go listen to the podcast and you go watch the YouTube, they have a lot of separated content.
Yeah.
Great.
But then obviously we have our investigation videos. We do like little stories too. We have a couple artificial pasta videos that are like narrated story using AI completely. So everything is made in AI. The story is made in AI. The video
it's read by
AI. It's read by AI. It's a little series we call Artificial Pastas, kind of a spin on the creepypasta type thing, but it's all artificial.
That sounds cool.
Or ancient Illuminati, right? AI?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I use AI all the time for graphics, I'm a little worried about it though. I mean, I saw the Terminator movies,
Right. It's like, what are we teaching them? Shit.
Yeah, it's like,
for sure.
I keep on saying, how do you determine what a soul means and what type of intelligence you need to have to say, okay, all of a sudden this has a soul or a spirit or whatever it may be. It's like, okay, we're just basically, organic computers ourselves with our brain. We have a central nervous system and a peripheral nervous system. So where is the separation? And that's one of my questions.
In our hands.
Definitely.
My questions. Anyway,
thank you guys so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And
we appreciate
send me the link to your new video when you have it, and we'll post it up on our social media all over the place. I promise.
Thank you.
We can't tell you how much we appreciate you guys. This is always a wonderful time too.
Likewise. Yeah, we're armchair ufologists, and we rely so heavily on people that are in the field, like you guys, doing the hard work,
Well, we're partly, yeah.
We appreciate it.
We do our part.
We try.
Yeah.
Okay.